So in my final tutorial of our World Religions project, I'm going to add a couple of images and make some adjustments to my overall design scheme. And then I'm going to round this out by showing you how to share your prototype and create a link that we can all visit and check out later on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to address my splash page that I created in the first part of this. And I've already created kind of a cool graphic for this. So what I'm going to do is just pull up my file, and there it is. And it's in images, and I made this in Photoshop. So you guys should also, create something unique in Photoshop, or, like find an image that would work well for your splash page as well. And I just called it World Religions Splash Page, and I made it the same dimensions as my document here, which is 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. So I'm just going to drop that in, and it looks like it's going to come in a little bit smaller. Okay, and then I'm going to send that to the back. I'm going to arrange that to the back. So I'm going to right click on that and then say send to back. So then I have my button and my text here, and it's not showing up very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete that title out of there, and I'm going to move this up to kind of like right about there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a logo that I also made, and I'm just kind of calling it World Religions, and I'm doing something very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop this into my board, and then I'm going to duplicate this logo, and I'm going to bring it right in here, and I'm just going to make it nice and large because I want this to look really good. I don't want to just use some plain text. So I'm just kind of position this kind of right in the center there. And then with my button, I want to make my button a little bit more appealing. So I'm going to zoom in. And my logo is a little pixelated, so I would want to fix that. I would want to make sure that in Photoshop I made that adjustment and made it a little bit larger so it'd be a little bit cleaner. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to go ahead and go with it. I'm going to use this logo as kind of a header in other places. But for now, so that's what I'm going to do. And so what I want to do is I want to change my text for one. So I want to say kind of like learn more. And so then I want to make my button a little bit bigger. Stretch that out just a little bit more. And I want to round out those edges also a little bit more. So I'm going to click over, let's see, click on my rounded edges there. And I'm going to try something, let's see, the height of this button is 100 pixels tall. So my rounded edges need to be 50. Let's just go ahead and, yep, there we go. And let's just make it a circle, just like that. Okay. And I think I want, let's see here. I think I'm going to leave the button as let's check out my color palette that I got here. I've got white, I've got the dark gray. I think I'm going to leave it as white. And let's change our text here. Change the fill, and let's change it to this dark gray color. Okay, did that work? Let's see, double click on that, fill. Eyedropper tool, that's what I need. Eyedropper tool. Dang it, it's not coming over. Zoom out. Here we go. Okay, text, fill. Oh, I know. There's the eyedropper tool. And then just grab that gray. Ah, dang it. That's not what I want. The text. There we go. Text, color. There we go. That's what I'm after. Eyedropper. And then that dark gray. There we go. Nice. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it that way there. And so then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to drop in this this logo on my header. And so I'm going to actually make some modifications to my header here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. And I think I want to change my background color of this fill to match my color scheme that I've got going on. And I have kind of this bright blue, lighter blue color. I've also got that dark gray. So, and these were colors that I picked later on that I wasn't sure if I'd use or not, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with those. So I'm going to click my little fill eyedropper tool. Let's go ahead and try this brighter blue. I like the way that contrast works pretty well. If I want a little bit of a darker blue, I could probably go with that, and maybe I consider that. So let's go ahead and let's try using, say, like a dropper tool here. What would happen? I actually really like that color, and it's kind of more of the earth tone there. So that's one option that I could do. So let's go ahead and save that color for now. Let's go ahead and grab this color and then use the eyedropper tool and then grab that color so we can hang on to it. And then let's go ahead and see what other options we have. We can try to maybe grab something from the space option. Let's see, let's fill that. Try that. Ooh, I think that might work out pretty nicely. And that will fill the kind of like the fit the sky theme with the world and the stars and all that. So I'll do that. And then what that means is I also need to make an adjustment to our home menu here. So I'm going to right click on this and just make sure that that's all the way to the front for one. And then for the fill on those bars, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. I think I just want those to be white so they're nice and clear. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the fill. Yep, boom, that works for me. Okay. And I think my header will work there pretty nicely as well. So from here, what I need to do is make sure that my header has the World Religions title to it. So let's go ahead and let's do this. Well, let's do this manually, since I don't want to have to redo adding my logo to the header there. So I'm just going to Alt, because what I'm concerned about is if I delete these out, then I'm going to have to re-link them in the prototype. And I don't know if I really want to go through that whole process again. So, I wonder if I can I double click this and then, let's see, let's add this here. Let's see if that'll work. Not sure if it will or not. Doesn't appear to be. I was hoping it would. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this the hard way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and Alt click and copy that. And just make sure that that's there. Position that right about there. Let's go ahead and Alt click this again and bring this into our header right there. Just so it's there. Okay. And then let's go ahead and Alt click. In the future, I think the way I would do this is I would have my header as kind of a separate piece on my canvas, and then that way I could later on go back and make some of those changes before I kind of create more of a design system. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and copy all these in here and position those where they should go. I'm not going to worry about getting them perfect right now, but I would want to going backwards. Okay, all right, let's zoom out. I like that look quite a bit. Oop, looks like one. missed one there. Okay, and if I were also, another thing that I would probably want to do is to make this a home link of some sort. So in my prototype piece, I would probably link this button to my splash page or to the religions grid page. In this case, I probably would just go back to the home page and make it that way. So I can just go through and link all those up. I think if I was smart about this, I probably would have had this. Oops, and then this. I need to go back to design. Looks like one of these didn't stick. There we go. Back to prototype. Link that bad boy up. You know, and since I have this linked up to the splash page, I probably should do a different name for my the home up here, because this will go back to our grid page. And I do want to address my pull down anyway, because as in testing this, when I do the pull down, it's just white and it goes over the top, which is fine, but then it looks kind of funky with white on white with the background and then of the pull down menu and the white background of the page. So I'm going to click on my little pull down nav menu and zoom out here. What happened to my toolbar? Oh, that's because I'm in prototype. Go back to my design piece. Click on my background page here. And what I want to do is I want to do the fill with that dark color. So I'm going to do the fill with... Oops, I don't have that dark color named anymore. So I need to make this my color. So let's delete that one. And let's make that one a new color. There we go. Make sure I'm doing okay. And then I want to fill. Come on, click on that page. There we go. Hit fill, and then that dark color. Oops. And it didn't fill. Or oh, the text filled maybe. Let's see here. Come on. Wants to fill the text. That's what's going on. So let's see if we zoom in. Maybe that's because the page itself can't be filled. That could be a possibility. So there we go. Let's see. Ah, there we go. I had to double click it. Okay. So now fill with that dark color. Okay. And then let's bring our text here. And our text fill is going to be white. There we go. Now we're cooking. Okay. And then I want to change this text name to, I don't know. I don't want to name it home because that's kind of what our splash page is. So let's call it, let's just call it religions. Let's just call it religions. And we'll just leave it at that. Okay. So now when it drops down, and the other thing I want to do, so let's go back and let's double click on this fill. And let's see if we can't reduce the opacity. There we go. So click on the fill. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the opacity of this background to something that's pretty light. And what I want to do is just test it. So I'm going to get out of this, go back to prototype, and then test it. And let's go to here. And I want to click on this guy. Yeah, that's not going to work. It needs to be solid. So that's why I tested it. So we're going to go back, double click, click on design again, double click, and that fill, we're just going to bring it back up. And then let's go ahead and test it and see how that looks. Yeah, that's going to have to work. That's going to be better. Okay. And that'll take us to our religions page. This will take us to, although that's not, oh, did I do that? Did I link it there? Nope. Let's link that one there. Boom. Okay, there we go. Test it one more time. Test that. That goes back to there. Learn more. There we go. Okay, cool. Before I sign off, I think I'd like to address this bottom And I could probably address some other things too, like the links. I think my links should be maybe that same blue with that kind of white. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click on that, and on the fill, I'm going to pick the dark, and then on the text. And the cool thing is, because we made that a grid, if you remember last time. Let's see, is that the right fill, or is that clicking on the button? I have a feeling. There we go. Double click on the text, and for fill, we're going white. Okay, so now we have a more uniform look. Let's go ahead and look at the size of these buttons. So that's 72 pixels. Let's go ahead and make those, double click on that. Let's go ahead and make those an even 70 pixels. And then that way on our rounded corner, we can divide that into half. So each of our rounded corners needs to be 35. So it'll be more of a circle. Okay, kind of dig that. And then, so last but not least, what I'd like to do is, I don't know if I'm digging this lighter gray that we've chosen for our border or for our bottom. I think I want to go with something that's a little bit different. Looking at my color scheme here, I've got the dark blue and the white. The gray doesn't look bad per se. And I can't do white because we've already got the white page. And I don't necessarily want to do the same blue color down here. Let's see how a dark gray would look. Too dark. Maybe the light blue? That color scheme is just slightly off. What if I come up here and play around? Ooh, what about a green? Let's try that. Click back there. Try to get maybe a greenish part of the earth. Can I find a green pixel in there? It's not bad. We're getting closer, I think. Let's just go ahead and see if we can play around with maybe a dark green. Fitting that earth color. No, not liking that. Okay, let's go back to our eyedropper tool. Let's go see what we can find here. I actually like that color. I think I'm going to go with that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to delete this color here. And this color here is going to get this color. And then we're going to turn this into our new color. Okay, and our footer should also have that. Now our footer text, for some reason, got the different treatment. So I want to make sure that I fill that footer text with either white. Let's see how white looks. I think white will look good, and I think I have these on 2 different lines, so just double check that and bring those in as white. And I think that for me is going to do it. I'm digging that look for now to finish out our tutorial. Okay, so make sure you save. I'm feeling pretty good about this. So just go ahead and save everything. I've got my header in there. I've got my footer changed out. I've got my splash page. It all looks really nice. Okay, so then I want to share it. I want to share this with the world, or share it with my colleagues, or I want to give this to my client so that they can look over it. So what I'm going to do is up here in the right-hand corner, you have a couple different options for sharing. If you just want to share this page as a link so that someone can look at it, it's pretty easy. You just click on this little guy and then you just hit Publish Prototype. You're going to see that there's other options here, like Publish Design Specs. That would be if you wanted to hand this off to a developer to actually start coding this for a website. And what this is going to do is it's going to package everything together as with your assets, all the images that you use and the text and everything. And then it's also going to provide all the spacing pieces for it and the links and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty cool deal. But we're just going with the Publish Prototype piece. So we're going to click on that. And you have a couple different options from here. I've already published this once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Update. You're going to say something like Create Public Link or something. We can create a private link, but we're just going to do this as a public link. And what you're going to do is you're going to email me that public link to turn in your world religions piece as a whole. So what you're going to do is you're going to allow comments. You're going to show hotspot hints, which is fine. Let's go ahead and we'll leave that blank, and we won't require a password. I'm going to hit update so that I can grab my new link. I'm going to show you how to show that link here in just a sec. And there we go. So then up here in the right hand corner, we have an embed code. And then, so if you hover on that, you have a link copied. And this will open it up into, bring this over for you to show. So this is our public link, and this will allow me to also put in comments about your design and things that I think you could work on. So here, everything will work. It'll work just and function just like a web page. Pretty sweet. Right on. Okay. Some of you might be asking why we didn't do anything with the social media links, and that's okay. Those are just there to show that that's where we would put those, because you would want to have some type of social media links, on your website. So that's why those are there, but we didn't link them up. So everything should work. You should go through your whole piece and make sure every page works. Make sure that your drop downs work where they should go. All right, that concludes our World Religions tour of XD and learning about world religions and learning about a new tool in our class. So congratulations.